Ladies, gentlemen, and Vault Hunters of all ages, we are only a week and a half post-release of Borderlands 4, and players are finding new interactions that are utterly borked. The developers are speaking up about certain topics to let us know what they are working on and a general timeline for this, and with PAX Australia coming up in a few weeks, we've just found out that there will be some sort of Borderlands-related presentation slot, and so let's talk about what we expect to see there too, and then we'll also go over any new shift codes that have popped up over the last few days so you can get more of those tasty golden keys. Starting off today then, let's just get right to the shift codes so you can stick them into the game right now. We've got two new shift codes that are good for the next 2 days or so, right from Randy Pitchford himself, and these are for 1 golden key each. Aside from those, you may have already put these ones in before, but just to make sure that we cover all the currently active ones, these 2 keys have no known expiration date, each for 1 golden key, and this next one is for the Break Free pack, which is some cosmetics and a free legendary shield as well. Next up, we've got an announcement that Gearbox will be at PAX Australia in October, talking about and revealing some post-release content and behind-the-scenes stuff for Borderlands 4 as well. This gives us our first actual timeline on some post-release stuff properly, and for those wondering what this could be referring to, we do have a pretty detailed roadmap of what to expect over the next few months for this game. And I would say anything in the left section of this roadmap here is likely to get at least hinted, teased, or properly shown at PAX here. The Halloween mini-event is super likely to be seen, and I wouldn't be surprised to see new legendaries and cosmetics being shown off here too. That is all the stuff that I fully expect to see. I would also say it's quite likely to see more about Bounty Pack 1 specifically. This promises some new main missions and a new boss, new legendaries, a new vault card, a new style for all of the Vault Hunters, a new drone skin, and a vehicle variant. As for more detail on what all of this actually means, they've said this first Bounty Pack will heavily focus on Rush as a main character as far as the story content in it. It will have a new boss, and theoretically the new legendaries will just become dedicated drops from this new boss, as that would make the most sense. As for the Vault card, this is the most unexplained part of it, but this seems to be like the equivalent of like a battle pass, but for a single player game. Or even like the War Bonds from Helldivers is a better comparison for people who played that. But the idea is that you can choose which Vault card you have active, at least once there are more than one option, and while you have a Vault card active, it will be able to be leveled up through experience gain, just like getting levels or specialization levels, and there will be daily and weekly random challenges as a part of this that give you ways to gain extra experience even faster. As you progress the Vault card, there will be 24 new unique cosmetics within it, as well as 4 pieces of re-rollable gear, separate from the new legendaries in the Bounty Pack itself, and I'm hopeful this will include new bodies for each Vault Hunter, as we have very limited options of body customization, but we don't know that for sure. As far as the legendaries in these Vault cards, these will be able to be earned repeatedly, so that you can try and get the modifiers you desire on them, which is a neat thing that they considered, so hopefully we'll get a proper visual representation of all this new stuff being shown at PAX here. The final thing that we know is coming sooner rather than later is the first Invincible boss, which is an extra hard mode boss with new legendaries attached to it, and this will also come with the unlock to Ultimate Vault Hunter 6. So I could definitely see them teasing this boss and some of the legendaries from it as well, but this is all the stuff that we expect to learn at least somewhat more about at PAX in a few weeks. Past that, players have recently realized there is something really funky going on with Torgue sticky mine shots. This is one of the various ammo types that you can roll as a licensed part on weapons. They come pretty standard on Torgue weapons, and they make perfect sense on those, but the craziness from these comes when you find them as licensed parts on weapons that have strong underbarrel attachments. The best examples that I am aware of being Ripper manufacturer shotguns, which can roll with the fuel rod underbarrel, which just chunks out essentially a radioactive grenade, and then on Vladof SMGs, the underbarrel taser attachment, or the underbarrel flamethrower attachment, both work from this and make this actual interaction take place. If you can roll any weapons with strong underbarrels though, that also has Torgue Stickies, something just seems to go absolutely crazy in the way that the game calculates the damage. Stickies are supposed to increase explosion damage taken by the enemy for each sticky that is attached to them, but specifically when interacting with underbarrel attachments, this seems to apply in a very weird multiplicative way instead of additive, so if you shove a bunch of stickies onto an enemy, then launch either of these underbarrels at them, the damage that it does is just absolutely immense. And while I am of course in my own build at the moment, I want to be clear that without activating any of my actual buffs, this goes goes absolutely nuts, so if you want to make the game trivially easy, look out for either a Ripper shotgun with stickies and fuel rod, or a Vladof SMG with stickies and either the taser or flamethrower. There might be some other combinations that work with this too, but those are the ones I know for sure. Past that, we've got some information coming directly from the creative director of Borderlands 4, responding to some tweets from players. This is going to be confirming a number of bugs that they are looking into and fixing, as well as giving somewhat of a timeline on the console patch that's upcoming and what to expect within it. Starting off with that part, we know that there is a console patch essentially ready to go, just waiting on console certification to push it through, which for those who don't know, unlike PC where developers can just update their game whenever they want to, whenever they feel like, on consoles there is someone on the console's end, or more likely a team of people, meaning Microsoft for Xbox or Sony for PlayStation, and these people then have to go through the patch, make sure the patch is fine, run their own checks, and then approve it to go out on their console. So this essentially means the patch is completed, but they're waiting on things that are out of their control and any changes they might have to make after that. As for what is inside of this, they have specifically noted that the bug where items will just have no actual visuals to them in your inventory is going to be looked at in this. This does happen occasionally on PC as well, but it is far more rampant on consoles, and it will be fixed relatively soon whenever this patch hits. As well, they've confirmed that a field of view slider for consoles will also be in this upcoming patch, so while we don't know the exact timeline of when this patch will hit, console players are going to have some nice changes coming up quite soon. Past that, there are some other things that have been acknowledged and responded about. There are some bugs where having the game crash at certain moments can just literally remove skill points from your character permanently. I did have this happen once where it crashed while I was mid-respec, and then when I loaded back in I was just missing skill points, but when I used the respecialization machine again, they came back immediately, and I avoided a full-on panic attack that I was about to have, thinking my 100+ hour character had just been bricked. But they are aware of this issue. They have specifically said that not only are they looking into fixes to prevent it from happening in the future, but also that they can actively fix characters that have been broken through this. It is not in the immediate upcoming patch, but it is in the pipeline of fixes. It is going to happen, so the advice right now is to maybe just play another character for the meantime. We have also heard that the lost loot machine is not working the way that it's supposed to. It is intended to update frequently so that it only shows the highest rarity equipment that you've missed, instead of just getting filled with common items instantly like it does right now. And not in the current patch that's about to happen, but in theory the next patch afterwards, they have plans to fix the system and have it working as it's supposed to. We've also seen responses about mouse and keyboard support for consoles. As someone who plays the game on mouse and keyboard and has played Borderlands with controllers in the past, I personally prefer the mouse and keyboard experience pretty drastically, but that is just how I like playing games myself. Different people have different preferences, but I think especially for a non-competitive game, having all of the options available for players is the best policy. But they've confirmed that mouse and keyboard support will not be coming to Borderlands 4 on consoles anytime soon, or really ever, though they are going to consider it for future games. The main reasoning stated is that it would just take way too much work to change the console version of the game to have this work properly, which seems a little odd to me given that PC can just flip back and forth in an instant, but I also say that with very minimal knowledge of game development and accepting that the creative director of the game 100% has a better idea of the effort and time required to add something than I do myself. Finally then, this isn't a bug or an upcoming change, but just a bit of a PSA that will hopefully help make a lot of people's lives easier as we're moving forwards, which is just knowledge about the way that enemies scale in relation to side quests. So we all know that the game scales enemies with your character. Enemy levels will always be near yours. Even if you go back to the same area 10 hours later, you will not over-level things. But there is some variance within this. Some people have even mentioned fighting enemies as much as like 6 levels above them and feeling absolutely lost about how to deal with that, and the response here tells us why different players are having such vastly different experiences. He doesn't quite want to give away the full secret sauce, but he explains that the way the scaling works in general is based on a sort of balance between main story progress and side activity progress. If you only do main story stuff and never do any side content, the enemies in your game will be tougher than someone who did a load of side content and minimal main story. This is very much out of expectations for a game that has level scaled enemies, as the moment that I saw they were level scaled, personally I just assumed that there was no point in trying to like XP farm earlier, things like that, because enemies would just keep up with you, and that is usually what side content would be for trying to over level things. But this statement here shows that you will genuinely have an easier and more comfortable time in this game the more side activities that you engage with, with, and this includes things like side quests, the silos and the safe houses, the vaults, pretty much everything except for the contracts, as I imagine. As my guess to how this works is that there's like a hidden side activity progress meter, sort of like the main story progress meter, and the further these meters are apart from each other, the less favorable the scaling will get. So I don't imagine that things like contracts, which are endlessly repeatable, would count, but of course I can't say that for sure. Either way, if you're noticing that your game is getting tough, if enemies are way too many levels above you, do some side activities for a bit and it should ease off. That just about does it for today then, everyone. A roundup of what's been going on surrounding Borderlands 4 the last few days, shift codes, community discoveries on strange interactions going on in the game, and all of the developer responses of note that can actually tell us what to expect moving forwards with the game, as well as some speculations about Pact's info that we've been told will happen. I hope you've all enjoyed this, and let me know your own thoughts on all of it down in the comments below. Like if you liked the video, subscribe to the notification bell for more, and most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, I'm the conductor of the poop train! Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.